Today, we're learning how to clear radicals. And when we're clearing radicals, that means there cannot be a square root in either side of the equation. In order to clear a radical, though, it must be up by itself. So the first step is to get this square root by himself. So to get rid of him, there can either be a number times him, like the 6, or there could be something added or subtracted back here. If it's added or subtracted, we have to subtract it to the other side, and if it's multiplied, we must divide. So this time, we have to divide by 6 in order to get the square root by itself. If it divides, you do. If not, you leave it as a fraction. So the 6 cancel, and this time the 6 and the 30 are both divisible by 6, so we can do that. So 6 divided by 6 gives us 1x. 30 divided by 6 gives us -5. Now we have the radical by himself, so now he's capable of being cleared. In order to do that, you must remember that to clear a square root, you have to do the opposite, which is squaring. So we're going to square both sides of the equation. So we square the left and the right side of the equation, or the right and the left. Once you square, the square and the square root cancel. You have to remember that x minus 5 squared is not x squared minus 25. You have to take x minus 5 times x minus 5 because there are 2 of them. So that gives us our x squared minus 5x minus 5x plus 25. If you remember the shortcut and can do it in your head, please do so. So we squared the x minus 5 squared, and we've got x squared minus 10x plus 25, and a radical has cleared. So the square root is now gone. Now I have to solve for x. So since it's an x squared, we have to set it equal to 0. So we need to move the 19x by subtracting. So we subtract 19x from both sides. We have to move the 29 over. So we add 29 to both sides of the equation. Let's rewrite that. And we calculate. 29s and 19s cancel, we have 0. X squared minus 29x plus 54. From this point, I do not care how you solve it. You can use any method I've taught you so far. The 2 of them that you seem to like are factoring or the quadratic formula. So remember your quadratic formula? Everybody can say the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You can use that to get both of your answers, or you can factor. This one here has 2 ways of factoring. It's an easy factor because of the 1 in front of the x squared. So you can do factors of 54 that add to 29. And that's 2 and 27, both negative. Or, if you don't remember that one, you can do the long way, or the funnel method, which is x squared minus 29x plus 54. Multiply the outside terms, and you get 54. Factors of 54 that give you 29, and remember you go through them. Also, like 1 and 54 doesn't work. 2 and 27 does work. I need them both to be negative, so I can get a negative 29, and they replace the 29x in my equation. So now you've got x squared minus 2x minus 27x plus 54. You have your 4 terms now. So in your 4 terms, you have to root. So we put the first 2 together. Remember your plus and negative. Your second 2 together, and take out what they have in common. The first 2 are divisible by x. The second 2 are divisible by negative 27. So we take out the x, and we get x minus 2. We take out the negative 27, and we have x minus 2. You know you've done your work right because the x minus 2's match. So those are what we factor out. We put them in front, and we're left with x minus 27. The same factors we had using the short method. Once you have those, you set those equal to 0, and then you solve for x. So you add your 2, you add your 27, and those are the two possible solutions. The problem we have here is that when you do a square root, when you square, you introduce roots that are not real. So some of these are right, some of these are wrong. You could get no right answers. You could get 2 answers, or one could work and one would be a false statement. So you have to check them all because you do not know what you have. So the first thing we do is we plug them both into the equation. I'm going to erase this over here so we have enough room. So you go back to your original, which was 6x minus 30 equals 6 times the square root of 19x minus 29. And you plug in the 2 answers you got. So we'll start with 2. So you just plug in the 2 for the x. So it becomes 6 times 2 minus 30 equals 6 times the square root of 19 times 2 minus 29. So 6 times 2 is 12 minus 30. 12 minus 30 is a negative 18. So we've done that side of the equation. So we need to go to the other side. So 19 times 2. So that's 6 times the square root of 38 minus 29. 38 minus 29 is 9. So that's 6 times the square root of 9. Well, we know that the square root of 9 is 3, so that's 6 times 3. Now we have the negative 18 equals 18. Not a true statement, so 2 is not a solution. So now we got to check the other one. So we plug 27 in. We do 6 times 27 minus 30 equals 6 times the square root of 19 times 27 minus 29. So 6 times 27 is 162 minus 30. Okay, I'm going to finish this one out. So that's 132 on that side of the equation. So we have to get 132 on the other. So now we do 6 times 19 times 27 is 513 minus 29. So that's 6 times the square root of 484. You take the square root of 434 on your calculator, you would get 22. And 6 times 22 is 132. Those check. So our solution is 27. Okay, now you get to try it. So someone hit pause, work on these 2 problems, and when you're done, check the solutions. First step, the square root is already by itself. So you must square both sides of the equation. So we have 3x minus 5 equals, so you're writing this twice, x minus 5 times x minus 5, which is going to give us x squared minus 5x minus 5x plus 25. So we have x squared minus 10x plus 25. Set it equal to 0. And remember, we always move to the x squared side if we can. So we're going to subtract the 3x and add the 5. Subtract 3x and add the 5. So we have 0 equals x squared minus 13x plus 30. All right, it's an easy factor again because of the 1. So factors of 30 that give you 13 are 10 and 3. So this is x minus 10 and x minus 3. You could have done the funnel method here or the quadratic formula. All are acceptable. So we have x equals 10 and x equals 3. Now we must check both of those solutions. So let's start by plugging 10 into the original problem. I'm going to erase our FOIL up here so we have room. So over here is our check. So we go the square root of 3, and let's start with 10, times 10 minus 5 equals 10 minus 5. So this is the square root of 30 minus 5, which is the square root of 25 over here, and that equals 5. So now I go over here, 10 minus 5 is 5, all the way down. 5 equals 5, this checks, so one solution is 10. So now we have to try the other one. So let's plug in our 3. So we do the square root of 3 times 3 minus 5 equals 3 minus 5. So that's the square root of 9 minus 5, which equals negative 2. Square root of 4 equals negative 2. So we have 2 equals negative 2. That does not check, so this is not a solution. So our answer is the solution is 10. It has one answer. Okay, your next one is a little bit different, but not much. You have the square root of x minus 2 plus 4 equals x. This time to get the square root by itself, you have to subtract the 4. We subtract the 4 from both sides, and we have the square root of x minus 2 equals x minus 4. Square root's by itself, so now you're ready to square. So we square the first side and the second side. So this cancels, giving us x minus 2. X minus 4 times x minus 4. X squared minus 4x minus 4x plus 16. So we have x squared minus 8x plus 16. We've done our FOILs. We've written everything down. Now we must set it equal to 0. So to set it equal to 0, we clear the one side of the equation. So we're going to subtract x, add 2. Subtract x, add 2. Remember, if it's going too fast, someone has to hit pause. So this cancels. We have 0 equals x squared minus 9x plus 18. Factors of 18 that give you 9 are 6 and 3. So that's x minus 6, x minus 3. Off to the side, I should be seeing 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6, whatever you need to do so you get to your factors. So x equals 6 and x equals 3, and you set them equal to 0. Here, we'll show that set. Make sure no one's lost. So we go x minus 6 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0, add 6, so x equals 6, add 3, so x equals 3. But we don't know if one or both of them work, so you have to check them again back into your original problem. So we're going to do 6 first, is what we're checking. So go 6 minus 2 plus 4, is that equal to 6? 6 minus 2 is 4, so that's the square root of 4 plus 4, does that equal 6? Square root of 4 is 2 plus 4, so 6 equals 6, so the first one checks. So we know 6 is a solution. Now we have to see if the other one is a solution. So now we're checking 3. So we do the square root of 3 minus 2 plus 4, and that has to equal 3. The square root of 3 minus 2 is square root of 1 plus 4. Square root of 1 is 1. So 1 plus 4 equals 3. 5 does not equal 3. So this is not a solution. So your answer to this problem is x equals 6. There we go. So x equals 6 is your solution. Okay, that is it. Good luck. You should be starting your homework. Go slowly and watch your sign.